Imagine walking alone in the desert at night. The moonlight is pale, the wind whistles across the rocks, and you hear footsteps, but they're not your own. You turn, and in the distance you see a figure. It looks human, but not quite. Its movements are wrong. Too fast. Too jerky. And then, before your eyes, it changes to something else entirely. Welcome to the legend of the Skinwalker, one of the most chilling figures in Native American folklore. Tonight we'll take a 90-minute journey deep into the origins, the terrifying powers, and the countless sightings that make the Skinwalker one of the most feared beings in North America. But fair warning, after this you might think twice about going camping alone. The origins of the Skinwalker legend comes primarily from the Navajo people of the American Southwest. In Navajo, they're called Yi-Naldlushi, which translates roughly to, "With it, he goes on all fours." Unlike many other legends, skinwalkers aren't mysterious monsters that simply exist. They are believed to be witches, people who once lived as humans but chose to embrace dark magic. To become a skinwalker, one must commit the most horrific acts imaginable, often involving betrayal of family or taking innocent life. The Navajo rarely speak openly about skinwalkers, and when they do, it's with great caution. The belief is that even discussing them can draw their attention. That's how deep the fear runs. Skinwalkers are said to shapeshift into animals: wolves, coyotes, owls, foxes, and sometimes even humans. Run faster than cars, sometimes keeping pace with moving vehicles. Mimic voices, calling out in the sound of a loved one to lure you closer. Enter homes and torment families at night. One of the most chilling aspects is their half-human, half-animal forms. Witnesses describe creatures with glowing eyes, distorted faces, and twisted bodies. Not quite wolf. Not quite something in between. And hey, let's be real. If I could shapeshift, I'd at least shapeshift into something useful, like a billionaire with free pizza for life. But no, skinwalkers go for the nightmare fuel option instead. Terrifying encounters and Navajo warnings. For generations, stories of skinwalker encounters have been passed down in whispers. One chilling story comes from a Navajo rancher who saw a large, hairless creature prowling near his sheep pen. When he fired his rifle, the creature didn't run. It stood upright on two legs and stared at him. The next day, one of his neighbors, a man known to practice dark magic, showed up at his door with an injury in the exact same spot he had fired. Another story tells of families hearing scratching at their windows late at night, followed by voices of loved ones calling for help. When the family resisted the urge to open the door, the voices turned to growls. The Navajo warn, never whistle at night. It's said to summon them. And if you hear someone calling your name in the darkness, don't answer, because it may not be human. So yeah, the next time you hear your name whispered in the dark, don't investigate. That's not bravery. That's how horror movies start. Skinwalker Ranch. If there's one place that cemented skinwalkers into modern legend, it's the infamous Skinwalker Ranch in Utah. The ranch became the center of bizarre reports in the 1990s when the Sherman family moved in. They reported cattle mutilations with surgical precision, gigantic wolf-like creatures that shrugged off bullets, glowing orbs and UFOs appearing in the sky, doors slamming, shadows moving, and constant fear. Researchers, including government contractors, later studied the ranch. Some concluded it wasn't just skinwalkers, but a paranormal hotspot, with everything from cryptids to interdimensional beings. Still, the Navajo insist the land itself is cursed. And skinwalkers guard it. Look, if I ever bought a ranch and giant bulletproof wolves started showing up, The for sale sign would be in the yard before the first moo. Modern sightings and theories, even today, reports of skinwalkers continue. In New Mexico, drivers have claimed to see creatures running on all fours at impossible speeds along highways, keeping pace with cars at 60 miles per hour. In Arizona, hikers reported being stalked for hours by a large, humanoid figure that seemed to vanish into thin air whenever they shone flashlights on it. Online, countless videos claim to capture eerie figures lurking at night with distorted limbs and unnatural movements. Skeptics argue, skinwalkers are just folklore, misidentified animals, or the product of fear and imagination. But believers counter. Why do the stories remain consistent for centuries across generations? Some researchers suggest skinwalkers are interdimensional beings, crossing between realities. Others think they may be tied to psychological warfare experiments, or simply undiscovered predators. Whatever the explanation, one thing is certain. The skinwalker remains one of the most terrifying mysteries alive in folklore today. Personally, if I see something running faster than my car, I'm not asking questions. I'm flooring it and pretending my gas tank isn't on E, the fear that still lives. The skinwalker isn't just a scary story. For the Navajo, it's a real, dangerous force. A reminder that not all evil wears horns or fangs. Sometimes it wears a human face. The fear is so strong that even today, many Navajo won't discuss skinwalkers openly. And if they do, they'll do so only in whispers, often with a fire burning, to ward off evil. What makes the skinwalker legend so powerful is that it sits at the crossroads of humanity's oldest fears. The betrayal of someone you trust, the terror of being hunted, and the unknown in the dark. So the next time you're out in the wilderness and you hear something move in the shadows, maybe it's just a coyote. Maybe it's just the wind. But if it calls your name, run. And hey, if you do see a skinwalker, just remember, they might be fast, but they probably can't deal with Wi-Fi dead zones either. The legend of the skinwalker is more than a campfire tale. It's a reminder that some mysteries are deeply rooted in culture, fear, and experience. Whether you believe in them or not, one thing is for sure. The stories are powerful enough to keep people looking over their shoulders, even today. And with that, I'll ask you one last question. Would you dare to wander the desert at night knowing this legend? Because out there in the silence, you never really know what's watching you.